The first of several deadlines designed to lower Vermont's output of climate pollution is looming in the not-too-distant future. Under the Global Warming Solutions Act passed by the state legislature last year, the state is mandated to reduce greenhouse gas pollution by 26% below 2005 levels by the year 2025, only a little more than 3 years away. Then, the next target is to reduce them by 40% below 1990 levels by the year 2030, and 80% below 1990 levels by the year 2050. To do that, the state needs to reduce its use of fossil fuels, oil, gas, and coal, for example, in sectors like transportation, heating, and agriculture. But first, under the Global Warming Solutions Act, a climate action plan needs to be developed by December 1st of this year to chart the course by how those goals are to be achieved. A 23-member Vermont Climate Council was established by the Vermont legislature. They are responsible for drafting the climate action plan due by December 1st. The Vermont Agency of Natural Resources is supporting the work of the Climate Council, which includes gathering input from Vermonters to inform the action plan. This week saw the start of a series of meetings the Climate Council is holding across the state to solicit input from state citizens on the building blocks of the plan to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, a major factor in climate change and global warming. The second of these meetings was held Wednesday, September 22nd, at Emerald Lake in East Dorset, and drew a large crowd that filled a pavilion there. Jane Lazorchak, the project director for the Global Warming Solutions Act, gave the initial overview of the meeting.
So if it doesn't seem like a lot, it's an unbelievable endeavor. We're trying to get at not only the what are the buckets of work that we need to do to meet these ambitious requirements, but the how, all within 13 months. And so we're marching full steam ahead at this point to the adoption of a climate action plan on December 1st. You are all here at a really critical time in the process. We're really excited to hear from you about your ideas, about actions, about how we can make these solutions real for Vermonters on the ground. So we really welcome you into this dialogue. This is the this is the second tonight, but what we hope will be a long partnership with Vermonters in thinking about how we co-create climate solutions that work for all of us. We also have a unique moment in time in that this climate action plan is aligned with the same time that the state, the Public Service Department, is working towards an update on the comprehensive energy plan. It's not their first time, so we're working really closely with them, but we want these two plans to be aligned where there's overlap, speak to each other, and reference each other, really in the energy policy space. And so it's really been an amazing partnership at the state government level and all across, with all hands on deck thinking about solutions that work for Vermonters in this space.
Those attending the meeting then broke up into small groups and discussed two main questions. What climate impacts are you most concerned about, and why? And two, how have you been personally affected? Those conversations consumed the bulk of the 2-hour-long gathering and were followed by each group reporting out on their discussions and suggestions.
3 priorities we identified. First of all, renewable transportation incentives, so making EVs and public transportation more available and affordable. Second, waste and consumption reduction, so closing resource loops through recycling and composting and recycling adjacent processes. 3, thoughtful and equitable management of human needs, so agriculture, housing, and water being managed in a manner which is aware of natural and human ecosystems.
Thank you.
This material will be processed by the Council as they develop the action plan due by December 1st. Afterwards, we had the chance to talk to a few of the participants to find out what their reactions and takeaways were from the meeting.
I was impressed by the turnout and the ideas that people, had brought with them. Some of which were already in the plan, it seems, or in the sort of the pre-draft. Overall, it was really encouraging. I think just to hear the passion and the often very thoughtful. With this, is this practical? What are the limitations? Those kinds of conversations.
Well, I was surprised by the different kinds of comments. I thought it'd be more directed towards specifically what we'd have to do to reduce our energy needs, and I was like electric cars and exactly what we would have to do. And I heard all sorts of things like community is so important. We want to make our own decisions. It was interesting, I thought. Very interesting.
You know, I come to a lot of these, and I've done a lot of Zooms with them, and each time I'm amazed at the number of ideas, the innovation, the intelligence, the passion. So, you know, not only do you get good information, new information, you also get energized all over again, no pun intended, to, you know, take on the challenge that we have. And one of the big things our group talked about was getting more incentives for transportation, more state tax incentives, more federal tax incentives, and dealerships to start doing more, to bring the price down of e-vehicles so that anyone can afford them. That's what we're going to have to do. It's going to have to be a major push, and we don't have a lot of time.
We also got to check in with Jane Lazorchak, the project director for the Global Warming Solutions Act, for her take on the meeting.
It felt like an all actions approach was needed at the table that I listened into, a recognition that it's been a long time coming and that we really need to focus our energies in almost all of the above actions being proposed. Our table spoke a lot about equity, efficiency, and in the building sector. I was heartened to see people talk about climate migration not only as the challenges, but also as an opportunity to push forward ideas of clustered housing, new housing development. There was lots of support for TCI, the Transportation Conservation Initiative, and participation in that. So it felt energizing and reinforcing. I will say there was also a recognition of making sure that our switches don't outsource our issues and emissions, and so a recognition that while we need to make the change fast, that making the right change is an appropriate thing. So to be thoughtful in the solutions and actions that we put forward.
After a similar meeting planned for Island Pond the next night, there will be an online public engagement event held on September 30th. More information about this and other activities of the Climate Council can be found at their website, climatechange.vermont.gov. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.